Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This is where you get everything you need to know at 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with some news of some odd things happening around the euro. But first, just released minutes from the US Fed show that officials there acknowledge international risks to the US economy and the weak start to the year domestically, but are still confident enough in the strength of the US recovery to plan for an interest rate hike later this year. In fact, some Fed officials still see a June hike as possible. QE in Europe is starting to show the expected distorting effects. Firstly, Switzerland auctioned $330 million worth of 10-year government bonds with a negative yield overnight, in what some banks said was the first time a government has effectively made investors pay for the privilege of lending to it for such a long period. And Mexico borrowed €1.5 billion at 4.2% with a promise to repay the principal in 100 years' time. In Australia, technology giants Apple, Google and Microsoft have each told their parliamentary inquiry into corporate tax avoidance that they are being audited by the Australian tax authorities for alleged tax avoidance. In New York, the US Treasury 10-year yield was unchanged overnight at 1.92%. However, the US oil price has fallen sharply today and is now at $51 a barrel, and Brent crude is at $55 a barrel. The correction came after the US government data showed that the largest weekly increase in American crude stocks since 2001 and far above market expectations, and a day after Saudi Arabia reported record production in March. The gold price fell back another $10 an ounce today and is currently at $1,199 an ounce. New Zealand dollar will start today higher at 75.5 US cents, still very high against the Aussie at 98.1 Aussie cents, and the TWI is just on 80.5. We should also note that the euro has fallen further overnight, and at one point the New Zealand dollar bought more than 70 euro cents, an all-time record. It's a tad under that at present. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.